get right into things. We got first and goal. We're going to talk about Derrick Henry. Like I said, the guy had a fucking awesome weekend. Ran all over the Bills, guided them to a victory. He had 20 carries, 143 yards, 3 touchdowns. He single-handedly kept the Tennessee Titans in it. He is the Titans offense. Everything runs through him. And I never thought we'd see something like this again where an offense is based on the running back, but it's here, and he won that game for him. Connor, what is your thoughts on Derrick Henry?
He's doing exactly what every team didn't want him to do, other than the Titans. He is just absolutely massacring every defense, aside from week 1 in Arizona, right? Chandler Jones puts on a clinic. He gets less than 60 yards rushing. Since then, he's averaged 24 carries a game, 145 yards a game. And not only that, he has 18 targets passing this season for a probable catch. He's caught 16 of them, which, coming from a guy like Derrick Henry, who is not supposed to be a receiving back at all whatsoever, that's pretty good. He's also playing 71% of offensive snaps, which is 5th among NFL's starting running backs, which is also crazy considering the fact that dude abuses people on every single play that he's in. He's running out of his mind. It's very obvious that they don't need A.J. Brown or Julio on the field for them to win a game, because Derrick Henry can just stand back there 5 yards deep and do whatever he wants. And the Bills are a very good defense. I mean, we saw it last week against the Chiefs. They shut the Chiefs down. And obviously the Chiefs have no run game, so maybe they weren't prepped for that as much. But Derrick Henry doing what Derrick Henry does, I mean, he's right now, through 6 games, he's on pace for like 2,500 yards or something rushing. If he continues doing this, he's got 780 through 6 games, which is absolutely nuts in a 17-game season. He's averaging almost 5 yards a carry and already has 10 touchdowns. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. If you're any defense looking at what Derrick Henry just did to the Bills, you're peeing your pants, being like, we have to go face him at some point in the season. And as we've seen, Derrick Henry doesn't slow down. He just keeps going. No matter how long the season is, no matter how many games he plays, he just keeps going. And, I mean, damn, good for him. Good for the Titans for figuring it out. That, hey, maybe we don't even worry about Ryan Tannehill throwing the ball. Let's just have Derrick Henry run it every play. And if that gets them wins, good for them. And, I mean, I can't say anything else because Derrick Henry speaks for himself. He's going to do what he does, and that's run over people.
So I am guilty of this. I think I said it on this podcast, actually, that Derrick Henry is an overrated running back. I have squatted on this take for so long. I think it's time to get off of it because this guy is so unreal. Like, he's a physical specimen. There's no other way to describe it. He's stronger than everybody. He's faster than everybody. He weighs more than everybody, but not in like a fat way, in a he's just built way. He can run the ball between the tackles and he can bounce it outside. As you said, he can catch. He's caught a lot better this year than he has in the past. And it makes me wonder what the hell the Titans were doing prior to 3 seasons ago. Derrick Henry's been in the league since 2014, I believe. 2014, 2015, somewhere in that range is when he came into the league. And it took until 2018 for us to see anything from him, 2019 for us to see anything from him. So what were the Titans doing? Splitting carries with Dion Lewis. I think this speaks more volumes to the NFL in general because I think that Derrick Henry is a special athlete, right? And I think right now we're in an era of truly special athletes. And when you have a special athlete, he was proof of this on Monday night. You just hand it to him and say, get us the win. That's pretty much what they did on Monday night, is they gave it to Derrick Henry, said, guide us to victory. It's your team, your game, find a way. And he did it because he's just that good. He is a physical specimen. And like I said, the NFL is I really think a golden generation of just truly, truly special guys right now. I mean, you look at some of them, Derrick Henry, obviously, Lamar Jackson runs fast than everybody, is more elusive than everybody. Patrick Mahomes on just pure arm talent. Aaron Donald, his strength and quickness at defensive tackle. Have we ever seen a defensive tackle dominate the game the way Aaron Donald has? Kyler Murray has shown flashes of just extreme, extreme talent. Jalen Ramsey at the corner spot. We've never seen that combination of strength and speed at the corner position. I think it's a really good time in the NFL. We are in a golden generation, and it's something we have to appreciate because the NFL has had special athletes before. Deion Sanders comes to mind. Most athletic player maybe ever in the game. Deion Sanders, Calvin Johnson, the combination of size, speed, and strength at the receiver position. He was just the total package in one. Bo Jackson with his speed. These were guys that Bo Jackson to a lesser extent because he had the injury and he also played baseball. But these were guys that you could pretty much say, figure out how to get us a win. Obviously, on the defensive side of the ball with corner, Jalen Ramsey, Deion Sanders, it's a little tougher. But they could impact the game in a way where it was like, just get us the win. Deion's going to find a way. If we're struggling and we need some momentum change, Deion's going to find a way to get us an interception and get us the ball back, put us in position, maybe return it for 6. Jalen Ramsey, same way. Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes speak for themselves. I mean, they're just unbelievable. You're never out of the game when you have those two at quarterback. And I know the Chiefs have struggled and Patrick Mahomes hasn't been his best this year. Patrick Mahomes still leads the league in touchdown passes. He's still 3rd in the league in passing yards. And we're saying this is a down year for Patrick Mahomes. Aaron Donald speaks for himself, and obviously we have Derrick Henry. I mean, it's just the level of talent we have in the league right now is unmatched in any other generation of the league, any other era. I think that, like I said, we've had athletes before that are special, but never at this volume. I mean, I listed 6 guys. I could probably go on a list of like 10 more, of just truly special athletes. Aaron Rodgers wasn't even mentioned in that. You're never out of the game with Aaron Rodgers. Russell Wilson wasn't mentioned in that. And look how special he is. The Seahawks offense didn't look great with Geno Smith at quarterback. I'll tell you that. It's a great time, and Derrick Henry just leads the pack there. But I think the biggest question mark facing Derrick Henry, and the one thing that's kind of been avoiding him for a while, is he a legitimate MVP candidate? So, I mean, Connor, what do you think? Is he? What does he have to do to win MVP?
He has to keep this pace, right? He has to, through the next, the rest of the season. If he continues the pace he's on, right? So 6, 12, 18, right? Let's call it 18 games. If he keeps up his average through 18 games, he'll have 30 touchdowns, almost over 25, almost 2,500 yards rushing, 5 yards a carry, and he'll be at around 500 attempts rushing ish. If he does that, you cannot look at anyone else in the league. It's not possible. Say he ends up with 2,000 rushing yards, 22, 23 touchdowns, and keeps 5 yards a carry. Can you say no to giving him MVP at that point? I can't. Will it happen because it's the NFL and it'll end up going to a quarterback anyway? Yeah, probably. But at this point, I can't. I'm not giving it to Patrick Mahomes. I'm not giving it to Lamar. As good as Dak's played, I can't give it to him just because of Derrick Henry's pure dominance. And if he can keep it up through the rest of the season and ends up with the numbers that he could possibly end up with, you cannot go, oh, here's Offensive Player of the Year. That would be the biggest snub in NFL awards history. It would just be so unfathomable to not do it, because you can't look a guy dead in the face and be like, you are the most impactful player in the NFL. Even if the Titans don't end up winning a ton of games, you still, I wouldn't, as a NFL fan, be like, no, he doesn't deserve it. The Titans didn't make the playoffs, or they lost. Like, you can't do it. Will it happen? Probably. We know it probably will. Would my vote go to Derrick Henry? 100%.
I think, well, obviously they have to make the playoffs. I think that's just a given. I can't remember the last time a guy won MVP and didn't make the playoffs. Look, he's unique because he's the first running back I've seen since Adrian Peterson that 2012 year where he actually won MVP. That the team is built through him. Everything is off of Derrick Henry. Play action, Ryan Tannehill is the best off play action in the league because Derrick Henry is standing behind him, and every linebacker in the league is going to take trying to tackle Derrick Henry over taking the chance that Ryan Tannehill throws it over the top of him. It's not even a debate. So I think his main competition for it is going to be Lamar Jackson because he's carrying his team as much as anybody has. Kyler Murray, if they can keep up their pace, which I kind of doubt because the Cardinals have done this before where they've looked really good and then sucked in the later half of the season. But he'll be in the mix. Those are his two biggest competition, I think, because like you said, Patrick Mahomes is not going to win it. Aaron Rodgers won it last year, so chances that he wins back-to-back are low. It takes a lot to win it back-to-back. He could put up the same numbers, and I don't think he'd get it. But like you said, it's the NFL, and the NFL is going to find a way to give it to a quarterback, which is why I'm saying those two are his main competition. I think Dak would be in the mix, but his team is so stacked on offense that there's a lot of reasons not to give him that, whereas Lamar Jackson is dealing with Marquise Brown. Every other game looks great, and every other game looks like a number 3 receiver. Mark Andrews is consistently great. We know what Mark Andrews brings to the table. But the way he's carrying that team, I would argue, is similar to how Derrick Henry's carrying his team. Because Derrick Henry is the Titans' offense. Derrick Henry leads the league in rushing yards by 150 yards, right? No, 250 yards. I was right the first time. All right. Ezekiel Elliott, we say, is having a comeback year, having a really good year, bounce back year. He looked washed, and now he looks really good. He's 260 yards away from Derrick Henry for league leader in rushing yards. He has 10 touchdowns, Derrick Henry. That's twice as many as the second place person. Also, Ezekiel Elliott tied with a bunch of other people. Sam Darnold, one of them, has 5 touchdowns, rushing touchdowns. The guy's unreal. And in the end, it's going to be difficult to not give it to him. But like you said, it is the NFL. They'll find a way. And look, does he have my vote right now? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so just because of what Lamar is doing at the quarterback position, which I know it's unfair that we judge quarterbacks differently from every other position, but it's the leader of the team. I mean, and you could argue Derrick Henry is essentially the quarterback of his offense in a way because everything runs through him. I would say what Lamar is doing is slightly more impressive, but they're right there. They're neck and neck. And I think right now I'd give it to Lamar, but Derrick Henry's putting up as good a season as we've seen. Right now, if he were to continue this pace, he'd finish with 1,900 yards. I think he has to be north of 2,000 in order to win MVP. It's going to have to happen. Last season, he had 2,027 yards. That's 5th all time. And he was 80 yards away from Eric Dickerson's record. There's an extra game this year. So there's a chance for him to do that. And it's not out of the question because we've seen it before. Derrick Henry just gets better as the season goes on. I mean, he gets better as the game goes on. I think there was a graphic on Monday Night Football that he averages like 3.5 yards per carry in the first quarter and then like 7 yards per carry in the fourth quarter. Like doubles his average in the fourth quarter. This guy... It's so weird. He just churns them out, and he gets better the more tired he gets. Because you know what? He might be tired, but you know who else is tired? That corner that's trying to tackle him 4 plays a game. He doesn't want to be there. You think the 180-pound, 5'10" corner wants to tackle 230, 6'3" Derrick Henry? Not a chance. No, he doesn't want to wind up like Josh Norman. He doesn't want to wind up on a highlight reel. I mean, we saw, was it Jordan Poyer that tried to make the tackle as a safety on the Bills? in that game.
I can't
Derrick Henry
remember
broke
who
through.
it was, but
It was either Poyer. It was either
well,
Poyer or Micah Hyde. It was one of those two, and he just got freight trained, but he brought him down. And everybody online was like, "Imagine getting steamrolled like this." And a former NFL player, I think it was Emmanuel Acho, came out and said, "If you're a safety and you have to tackle Derrick Henry, and this is the result, you'd take that 10 times out of 10 because you got him to the ground.
100%.
You got him to the ground."
If I'm Jordan Poyer or Micah Hyde in that situation, and I tackle Derrick Henry, and he doesn't score a touchdown, I'm giving myself player of the game, dude. And you know what I mean? Like, you once Derrick Henry is in your secondary, you're just hoping that one of your guys trips him,
grabs a shoelace,
slows him down, does anything he possibly could to stop him. Because once he's past your linebackers, what are you gonna do?
And you're gonna hope
that he,
for his size, he's so fast.
That run he had, can't remember what it was. It was between the tackles. He bounces off a linebacker and then literally blows past everybody. And not only blows past them, is about 10 yards ahead of everyone, 20 yards past the line of scrimmage. And it's just, I mean, once your lineman and once your front seven gets tired and it's Derrick Henry and it's deep in the third, fourth, good luck. Have fun. See what you can do, because you're not going to have a good time.
Yeah, you might corral him the first 10 carries he has, but the next 20 are going to be hell for you. You're not gonna enjoy it. And like I said, his pass catching like you said, his pass catching has made an improvement. So now he can be on the field every down. He's an every down back at this point. Before he was one of those guys you took off on second down and brought in your scat back. He's a legitimate threat on third down. And look, he's incredible. He speaks for himself. He is a man amongst boys. It's crazy. That Bills defense is solid. I went into that game thinking the Bills are so much more talented than the Titans. The Titans lost to the freaking Jets 2 weeks ago. They're so much more talented. They should win this game with ease. But here comes that man, Derrick Henry, just mowing down defenders on his way to, like I said, 140-something yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, you could have put any quarterback back there for the Titans at that point. Just have him hand it off. Get out of this man's way, But yeah, I think he speaks for himself. I think we beat that to death. Derrick Henry is